I don't know if you can hear that, but the machine says this reading is being recorded. That for some reason always tickles me. Of course, it's being recorded. Um, Hello, everybody. This is Maxine Taylor. And wherever you are around the world, welcome once again to my monthly full moon ceremony. Today is, what is today? July 22nd, 2021, and the full moon here in Atlanta is on July 23rd at 10:38 p.m. That's Eastern Daylight Time. Convert that to your time zone, and you will know when you might want to watch this video. Use it for yourself, use it for your friends, pass it along to anybody who you feel would enjoy it. There is no charge for this. And I welcome you into my living room every month. Let's see now. Well, first of all, I'd like to do a cheap plug. If you're an astrology student or an astrologer, you might want to get a copy of my brand new book, Hidden Messages in Your Birth Chart. It helps you read the childhood programming you received, and this programming stays with us from birth till transition, until and unless we change it. It is obvious in your birth chart what your programming is. This gives you a deeper understanding of yourself and what might be encouraging yourself, or for most people I have come in contact with, what is holding you back from expressing your greatest heart's desire. Issues are evident in the birth chart, and they reflect our programming. You can release that programming, by the way. If you go to my website, MaxineTaylor.com, you'll find a tab labeled spiritual coaching. And under that tab, you'll find my Take Back Your Life sessions. They are powerful. They are transformational. So I mentioned that to you. Okay, now let's talk about this full moon. First of all, the full moon is in 1 degree. Let me get the minutes here. This is the ephemeris I use. So I pull it out all the time. All righty. The full moon is in 1 Aquarius 26, 1 degree and 26 minutes of Aquarius. If you will go to your birth chart and find 1 Aquarius, plus or minus, this is where the full moon will occur in your chart. Now, what is the full moon? This is a time when energy has been building and building and building, and it pops, it comes to a head. This is when the seeds you have planted bear fruit. And so wherever this falls in your birth chart, this is where you're going to want to use the powerful energy of the release of tension in your birth chart. Now, of course, it's a little different than the new moon. On the new moon, we have all kinds of beginnings, but this is full moon because this is when things come to a head. All right, now let me take a minute here and talk about your solar chart. This is a chart that I use in which I put your sign on the ascendant. If you're an Aries, Aries is on the ascendant. If you're a Taurus, Taurus is on the ascendant. These solar charts work. And so in combination with your birth chart and where the full moon falls in your birth chart, you've got the total picture. Some of you have asked, uh, can I use my rising sign? Absolutely, because the rising sign is the most uh, personal point in the chart, the ascendant, the rising sign. So yes, what I'm going to read now applies to your sun sign and your rising sign. So unless you have the same sun sign and rising sign, you're going to be looking up two signs. This is so exciting. Since this particular full moon is in Aquarius, let's start with Aquarius. If you are an Aquarius, first of all, you are different. And I mean that is the greatest compliment I can pay you. You march to your own drummer. You do things your way. You believe in humanity. And you know that what is best for the group is best for each individual in the group. You are farsighted. And most people can't understand what you're talking about, right? Well, ask Spirit to bring to you your own kind. And you'll find you're not alone. You're not different. You're just unique. In French, unique au monde, one of a kind. You are awesome. And so this full moon falls in your solar first house, which means you're going to do what you want, when you want, how you want, because you want. And you might say, well, I always do that, Maxine. Oh, it's like doing your thing on steroids. You know what I mean? You don't look for permission or approval or acceptance. You're just doing it. And I say, bravo to you. Pisces, this is a time, this full moon puts the full moon in your natural house. Pisces rules the 12th house in the natural zodiac. And this is a time of spirituality, of pulling back from the world, which nowadays is probably a good idea to do on a regular basis. You know what I'm saying? I do it all the time. Spend time alone, meditate, just enjoy your own company, listen to what your spirit guides are telling you. And if you keep getting the same message, to step out, to do your thing, to serve because you are a sign of service, go for it. If not you, who? If not now, when? Aries, this full moon emphasizes your humanitarian side, your friendships, group activities. This brings out the humanitarian in you. It's beautiful. And so you may be taking on some very strange qualities and talents because you, with 11th house activity, can act unpredictably. Not so much to yourself as to other people. Well, put your hopes and wishes into action. Taurus, this full moon encourages you to move upward in your career. It's time to advance. It's time to accept leadership. I love it. That's all I gotta say. Move slowly but surely up to the top. Claim your leadership. Gemini, well, you are the sign of communication, and this particular full moon encourages you to step out of the box and see a much bigger picture. Are you writing a book or a blog? Get it to the publisher. If you're self-publishing, get it back as soon as you can from the editor and the formatter and hit the road running. Spread your wings and soar. Are you thinking of going back to school? Perfect. Cancerians. This is a time of transformation. You too will want solitude and privacy. This is a time when your psychic awareness is very strong. You are a psychic sponge, and this is why you can't be in large groups for great periods of time because you pick up on everybody. Well, That's what's going on here now. And you can help other people get their finances straight. Something as mundane as money, you can help them with that. In fact, you can create money for yourself by working in tandem with someone you trust. Great, grand, glorious Leo. Relationships, very, very important to you now. Get out there and be with people. If there's one special person in your life, they are going to want more of your attention. So give it to them. Give it to them. You might say, well, they want a lot. Give it to them. Okay? Think about that. This is a time when you are more able to give it to them. This is a time when you might want to give it to them, and it will pay off beautifully. Virgo, well, you are, along with Pisces, the sign of service, practical doing service. So this is a time when you possibly have an opportunity to get a new job or to move forward in your current job. Because what you do is you cross T's and dot I's, and you are a perfectionist. You want it to be perfect. And if it is, it makes you a little nervous because you know that at some point the other shoe is going to drop. Don't worry about the other shoe, just enjoy the perfection of the moment, the perfection of the present. And if somebody says, I need you, I know that's music to your ears. Libra, this is a time to party. It's a time to have fun, to be creative. Are you painting? Are you drawing? Are you, what are you doing that is beautifying artistically? Pursue it. It's also a time to give parties and attend parties. And the fifth house, which is where this full moon is, also rules romance. Have fun. When I say fun and games, now you know what I'm talking about. It also rules children. And if you have children, they're going to want your attention and you're going to want to give it to them. Scorpio. I think Scorpio is the most powerful sign in the entire zodiac. It is ruled by Pluto, death and rebirth, symbolic death and rebirth. This is a time to focus on your home and family and something as mundane as real estate, because real estate deals with homes, and where our families live. So, are you renovating? Are you selling? Are you buying? Do what satisfies your need for emotional security. And Sagittarius, this is your time to share your ideas. Now, you are funny. Gemini and Sagittarius are opposite signs. And so you've got a sense of humor that's just a teeny bit slapstick at times. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. You are a natural philosopher and a student of human nature. So express your belief systems now. Write them, blog them, post them, share them. And Capricorn, very practical Capricorn. You don't mope, you don't hope, you cope. The full moon emphasizes your finances. So, do you have a deal cooking that's going to bring you more money? I'm going to pull this a little closer to me. Are you working on something that's going to increase your finances? Or have you already planted the seeds for that? Because on the full moon, they bear fruit. So there you have it. I love it. Now, when I do my full moon ceremonies, and those of you who have attended them at the Phoenix and Dragon know to come prepared with a list of what you want to create for yourself this month, or should I say, the next 28 to 30 days, because that's the time frame for the effects of the full moon. So, if you have a list, get ready, because we're going to burn our lists. Why do we burn our lists? It's so that our mind, or particularly our left brain, has this ceremony that indicates that we are releasing what we want to source, to God. Use whatever word reminds you of your concept of God. My concept is all that is. My concept is truth and love, as well as the opposites, because God is all that is. That's just my personal opinion. So I have my list here. And if you haven't done a list, pause this video and write a list. By the way, on your list, you can't change anybody. It don't work. It really doesn't. But you can, if you want more money, you can ask for it. And in just a little bit, if you'd like, when we do the right hand, left hand technique, you might want to use money as what your heart's desire is. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So what we're going to do is, now, a lot of times I will call in our angels. Well, our angels are always with us. We are one. And if you would like to take this time to call in your angels or spirit guides, please do so. Do you have an amulet, a pendant, a healing wand, perhaps, that you want to use during this ceremony? Perhaps you've already laid them out in front of you. Wonderful. And so I am going to burn my list. And this is something, as I mentioned, that we do for our brain, for our mind, to help us let go of what we're looking for, because otherwise we're clutching it. And I like to say, God can't give you what you want if it's clutched in your hot little hand. So if you're like me, the paper you use doesn't seem to burn easily. I'm not suggesting you use any, lighter fluid or anything like that. Just know that it may take a little while to burn, and that's fine. Okay. And when I do this at the Phoenix and Dragon, which I used to do with the Phoenix and Dragon, and which I hope to do soon, because I will be doing it again once it's safe for us to gather in groups of 40, 50 and more, because that's what I usually attracted at my full moon ceremonies, unless it was raining and we were indoors, and then it was, 20 people. So I have a beautiful bowl. At Phoenix and Dragon, I use a flower pot because it's bigger. You choose whatever works for you. And this is the part I pray works. Well, that one didn't do it. All righty. What do we got here? Let's just see if we can start a little fire here This is why at the Phoenix and Dragon, I use a flame starter, a fire starter. I don't use it. I find somebody who's good with fire and they do it. Almost. It's not going to be happening, kids. One final match is left. Oh my goodness. Welcome to my world. How about that? Okay. And I'm going to start by lighting one of the pieces of my list. By the way, thank you all of you who just saw me starting a fire. I appreciate that. And you can see the smoke coming out and the flame a little bit. And what I'm going to do is set it down on my floor, hardwood floor, and release it to the universe, knowing that what I have asked for is on its way to me. I don't know when, but I know it's on the way to me. In God's time, not clock time, and certainly not my conscious time, but at the right and proper moment. Okay, well, I'm getting a message. I need a new box of matches. Okay, will do. Moving ahead, now that that part of the ceremony is over, part two is the time that we create on an even deeper level, even deeper. What I'm going to suggest to you that you might want to do, and I am not saying you should, because you want what you want. In fact, I'm going to save this part of it for afterwards, because I want to give you total free reign to ask for what you want. And then I'm going to give you a piece of information that has always worked for me, always, without fail. So, in order to create what you want, you're going to want to come from love. And the easiest way to do that is to drop down into that sacred space within you. But maybe you've had a rough day. Maybe you're really upset with somebody. So what you do is so simple. You simply put your hand on your heart. Hope you can see that. And your attention goes where your hand is. And before you know it, you're calming down. You may not be totally calm, but you're calm enough to recognize that you choose to be in this loving space for now. And once you are in a state of love, and it's not necessarily euphoria, it can be a state of peace. It's not necessarily joy, although it can be. It's calm. It's calming. It's beautiful. And when you are in this space, you can take your hand away from your heart because you're there. You have arrived. If you want to put it back at some point, have at it. Extend your right hand, and in your right hand, you're going to ask Spirit to place your heart's desire. Put what you really, 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 really want in the palm of your right hand. And if this brings tears to your eyes, because you want it so badly. Let those tears flow, because it's on emotion that we create. Okay, right hand is what you want. Extend your left hand and ask to be shown what is blocking you from having what you want. This can be a person, it can be a place, it can be a thing, it can be an emotion. It can be an argument that you recently had with somebody and you're just feeling so justified. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is, it's your business. It's between you and spirit. And when sometimes it's an emotion. You can't even get an event. You don't need an event. All you need is what spirit puts there. And when you see it in your palm or feel it, toss it out of your presence, toss it to the universe, toss it to God. And you are left with your heart's desire. And so the steps that I use, and some of you are familiar with these because you've been joining me every single month doing them. You're going to go back to that time when you were born, the minute you were born, when you received your earthly name from your parents. And if you want, you can put your hand back on your heart now because it feels really, really good at this point. And so there's going to come a point at which you're going to say your name, because when you were born, you were pure love, pure spirit in physical form. You hadn't been programmed yet. You hadn't encountered earthly issues. You were pure love. And from that state, from that place, you have another chance. You might say, well, how many chances do I get? As many as you want. We do this every month. Join us. And so, what you're going to do at the count of 3, and I'm not going to verbalize mine because I don't want to interfere with you speaking yours out loud. This is the part that you say out loud. Okay? It will go like this. I will say, I, and then your full name at birth. And so let's say when you were born, it was Susan Betty Jones the third. That was your original name, and that's the name you go by. Okay? Because that's the name that was given to you when you were first born and you were pure spirit. And then there are a series of acceptances that I'll say, and you will put them in first person. And when we finish, you just see how that feels, okay? So, with your right hand on your heart, say, I, and now your full name at birth. I take back my heart and let all of God's love pour down from the top of your head through every cell in your body and out the soles of your feet. That's how you accept. I take back my soul. Accept that. I take back my mind. I take back my body. I take back my honor. I take back my identity. I take back my self-respect. I take back my God-given power. And finally, I take back my life. And let that pour down from the top of your head through every cell in your body and out the soles of your feet. And I hope that that puts you in a beautiful state. Now, just stay in that state and just listen on whatever level feels right to you about what I'm going to share with you now, because this is very, very powerful. And right now in this moment, you are very powerful. I'm going to talk about the power of forgiveness. Yeah. When an issue comes up for me that upsets me, I remind myself that it's in my life because I created that according to my programming, of course. If it's in my life, I want it. If it's not in my life, I don't. And so I know that I can change what I have attracted to me. And very often, what I have found is that when I do right hand, left hand, the reason for my not having what I want is because of a forgiveness issue. Now, if there is someone in your life that you find it impossible to forgive because justifiably they have done something awful, or maybe they've always done something awful, and you're waiting on them to change so that your life will be good. Well, dear friends, you may be waiting forever, or at least till the end of this incarnation, because what you're doing is asking them to change for you. That's not how change takes place. You change your invitation to them by forgiving them. Remember, you wrote the script of your movie, your life. Prior to incarnating, they're just playing their part and you're playing yours. The payoff in forgiving them is that you're free to do what you want. You're free to be the way you want. You're free to have what you want. And you take back your power because you've given them power over your life. If you're waiting on someone to be nice to you, and they have shown you, maybe for decades, that they just don't seem to have a niceness gene, you're waiting for them to do something they're unable to do. Why would you continue to do that? Why not just forgive them and free yourself from their grip? In other words, when you forgive them, you're no longer holding and waiting for them to change in order to make you happy. I hope this makes sense to you. You're able to move on with your life, which is great. And by the way, karma works on the spirit plane. Now, I want to add this to the forgiveness. Forgive yourself. Sometimes we are very, very hard on ourselves. If you did something, and I don't know about you, but I am so far from perfect. I say to people, if you want perfect, you don't want me, because I'm human. What I did when I was 22 is something I would never do now, or 30 or 40. I've learned, I've grown, haven't you? So it's time to forgive yourself and give thanks for that mistake, because what it did was it made you the beautiful person that you are today. Um, and when you forgive yourself, you stop punishing yourself. And how do we punish ourselves? Well, we get sick. We feel guilt. We remind ourselves we're not good enough. And maybe our money suffers. In other words, with lack of forgiveness comes punishment. And as I look around this beautiful world of ours, I see people who punish themselves because they can't let go of the anger, the rage they're feeling towards somebody. That person might be dead and they're still hanging on to it. And so forgive them. Do it for you. How many years, how many lifetimes do you have to punish yourself by holding on to anger at somebody else who in this lifetime just doesn't know any better? Free yourself up. And with this forgiveness comes another point I want to help you with by telling you my version of it. Accept everybody as they are right now. When you accept another person as he or she is, you quit waiting for them to change. They've been the way they are for decades. Didn't I just mention that? Or whatever. And you can tell if you have forgiven somebody because your mind will say, oh, I just forgave them. Maxine carried me through this step, which is true. But if you have any lingering anger, for example, if you say, okay, I never want to see them again. I forgive them, but I never want to see them again. Re-examine the forgiveness, because when you truly forgive and truly accept them, hey, let's just say there's somebody in your life who is a complete jerk, and you're expecting them not to be. Accept them. They're a jerk. They've always been a jerk. They'll probably always be a jerk. I'm not talking about forgive them, they are spirit made physical. Oh, I'm saying if they are a jerk, accept it. You'll quit trying to make them change. You will relax. Your face will relax. You'll look more beautiful, younger. You'll be happy. And you can move forward with your life plan. And so, with that in mind, I have my star cards here. You know how I love these star cards. I made them several years ago because there were cards, angel cards I would pull that had some negative thoughts in them or neutral. And I wanted to be uplifted. So at the end of my full moon ceremonies, my virtual ones, we don't do this at Phoenix and Dragon, although maybe we will at some point. For each one, please accept this. Okay. You are powerful. What you say now is, I am powerful. Cool. I am popular. I am a superstar. Oh, say that loudly. I'm a superstar. In your arena, you're a superstar. I am magical. Ooh, doesn't that give you goosebumps? It does me. Okay, this one. Let it rip. I let it rip. If not you, who? If not now, when? You know. Do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. I move into the magic. I know that's the title of my book, but You can move into magic anytime. I am transformed. I am healed. Don't you love these cards? I tell the truth. My suggestion is when you do it with love. You know what I'm saying? And finally, I claim my success. Thank you for joining me. I love hearing from you. And as always, my blessing for you, very simple. May the stars shine brightly on you and yours. Bye for now, all my dear friends.